All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining today. I am super excited to be here with you guys and have the opportunity to go through some of this stuff. We got a lot of stuff to go through in a little time, and I do want all you guys to ask your questions. Again, if we can't get to them today and there's something that you really, really want to know, here is the contact information. Please take a screenshot of the screen, or again, it will be sent to you. But this is how you contact the rules and regulations and our phone number. And again, we love your communication. So please, please, please save this email and this phone number. But with that, let's jump in. And I love that David's cat was on the screen because that kind of goes in turn with what we're doing here today. My fun screens to go with making compliance fun. So I know everybody knows their statuses, but we're going to really break these down today because there's a lot that goes into these statuses and a lot that has been coming into the rules department about the statuses and how they work. So even though you're probably thinking, why am I doing this and why am I talking about this? Well, there's going to be a reason and there's going to be a lot of good takeaways. So please stay tuned, ask your questions, but again, Q&A at the end, but let's dig into these. So active. I know it seems very easy, right? Active means it's active. It's active and you can show your property. Well, that is true. Okay, so active does mean that it's active. But the reason I wanted to bring this one up more so than anything, because I'm sure you guys have all heard that NAR has released a new delayed exempt marketing listing status for some, but delayed marketing exempt listing. What that is it means that you have taken the listing and your sellers do not want that listing out in syndication sites on the internet. So that listing will go into an active status. Okay, so please know that is a key point to know that if you do it as a delayed marketing listing, which would be compliant with NAR, it will go into an active status. And all you're going to do is choose Internet No for all the internet selections. Okay. That there is going to make you compliant with what NAR guidelines are, but that also keeps it where the sellers want. They keep it within the MLS, but it is not going out to syndication sites or any internet sites. With that being said, if you choose internet no, that means it is not going to be on the internet anywhere, including social media sites, any of that. Now, just know that things like that can be subject to change because policies are always changing. But at this time, that is where we are at with that. Okay. Again, though, this is an active status. So that means you can show it. That means you can email, you can put signs up, you can do everything that you normally would do in an active status. The only thing that it means is it is not going out to the syndication or internet sites. Okay. So that's the really important point that we wanted you guys to know what the active status, because obviously we know you guys know what active means. But again, active does mean that it needs to be shown. Okay. So if it cannot be shown, that's where we jump over into the temporary not available for showing. Basically, if your listing is not available within a 24-hour period, then you will put it into the temporary not available for marketing. There is one exception to that is now rental. Rental properties is 72 hours. Okay, so that is something that's probably going to be exciting for those of you who do rental properties. If you do not have showings within the 72 hours, then it would need to go into TNAS. But otherwise, anything other than rentals, if it is not available within the 24-hour period, it would have to go to TNAS. And a big thing that we have been getting lately is people don't realize that even though there is a active purchase agreement, an active offer in place, that the contingency still needs to show on temporary not available for showing. So if you have a contingency, if you have a purchase agreement in place, not only in active, but in temporary not available for showing, that contingency has to show, even if it is an inspection. Okay, we do get the question a lot that if I have a cancellation that is halfway signed, can the listing still stay inactive without the contingency? And the answer is no. The contingency still has to show until the full cancellation and mutual release form has been signed and completely executed. So, just to recap that real quick, any contingencies, no matter whether it's active or temporary, not available for showing, does need to show. Okay, and I know there's going to be a lot of questions on that, so please give them to us at the end. I would love to answer those, or if we get a chance to answer them in the Q&A, we will. But those are some of the very key points. And again, temporary not available for showing is if it is not available within the 24 hours, or if you have a rental property, it is 72 hours now. And then we're going to jump into incomplete and withhelds. There's a lot of important points within these two. We're really going to dive into withheld pretty deeply because clear cooperation does come into this one. And we have a really cool new FAQ that is out there. So I'm going to discuss that a little bit. But I want to start with incomplete. And there is a lot of confusion with incomplete listings. Incomplete, think of that as more of a holding. That's just where you're going to hold it. That truly is not the compliance status to go within the 2 business day rule. Okay. And what the 2 business day rule is if you have an active listing contract that falls under all of Minnesota, now North Dakota, and then the counties in Wisconsin are Buffalo, Pepin, Pierce, Polk, and St. Croix. If you take a listing contract and it is active, you do need to get it into the MLS within 2 business days. And the statuses that are compliant for that are withheld, coming soon, or active. Okay, incomplete is not. So what we are seeing right now is people think that incomplete is the same as withheld. So they will leave it in the incomplete status and then move it into an active status. Well, now that is causing some late listings, and I will talk about those in a little bit too. But just know that incomplete is not a compliant status for the 2 business day rule. It would have to be at least in withheld or, like I said, coming sooner active. The other good thing to know about an incomplete status, which I know people don't always know, is that it does purge after 21 days. So that means even if you're in there making changes and you're uploading stuff, you're trying to keep this going. If let's just say you're starting it 30 days early because that's where your contract is at and your start date isn't until then, it will purge after 21 days. So just please know that when you're putting that in, don't start it until or know that it will purge. So you may have to redo that. Just a good key point for you guys to know because we do get those questions. But again, incomplete is not a compliant status to keep you compliant with the 2 business day rule. Okay. Withhelds are withheld is used for a lot of different things. It's kind of that catch-all for if you're trying to get photos done, if you're needing to get painting done, or maybe there was something that happened, an emergency that happened, and now the listing can't get into the MLS within the 2 business days as far as an active or coming soon. So the sellers need to withhold it for a little while. But that also does mean that there could be an office exclusive. Please always check with your broker. Make sure the broker is going to allow you to do an office exclusive. Some brokers allow it, some brokers don't. So the biggest thing is to check with your broker before you do that. And what an office exclusive is the fact that you take a listing and it is withheld in the MLS. Nobody but your brokerage can see that, okay? Well, it is withheld. You do have the ability to talk about that within your brokerage and share it within your brokerage clients. That is going to be your withheld, and that is going to keep you compliant with clear cooperation policy. Clear cooperation policy is if you take a listing and you publicly market it in any way, that does become a clear cooperation violation. A key note about clear cooperation is if there is a contract in place, okay, if there is a contract in place and it falls within our mandatory area, which I had said before, Minnesota, North Dakota, Buffalo, Pepin, Pierce, Polk, and St. Croix in Wisconsin, it would be a clear cooperation violation if it is publicly marketed, okay? However, there is a little bit of a nuance or a new interpretation from NAR. NAR does now allow broker to broker, one-to-one communication. Okay. If you have somebody who you do believe has a interested prospect for your listing, it is okay to mention it to them on a one-to-one basis. It cannot go out in auto emails. It cannot go out mass emails. You can't use automated tools, but it is okay to do that. And if it falls under the two guidelines, which there is a new FAQ, which I'd mentioned before, and we will be putting that on our website. There are two guidelines to know on there, okay? You can discuss it with them outside of your brokerage on a one-to-one basis. And just past last Friday, you can show it only if it falls under these guidelines. And I'm going to read them just because I don't know them by heart yet. But the first guideline is the communication must not be the result of an automated tool that is designed to deliver the same information to multiple subscribers or repeatedly deliver the same information to a single subscriber. Also, the communication must not originate from a participant firm, but from an individual subscriber, and communication must not be directed to a participant firm, but to an individual subscriber. So basically, what that means is you cannot use some kind of an automated tool to send out mass communications. And again, it can't go from one brokerage to another brokerage. It is on an individual basis. So one of the things to remember with this, though, is be very careful with fair housing. Fair housing is for real, and that is being watched right now. So if you do only send to a select couple people, fair housing could be violated. So be very careful and talk with your broker before you do that kind of a practice. But these are really key points that we want you guys to know and that have been coming up quite a bit. So again, withheld can be used. You can advertise the property within your brokerage to your brokerage clients, but not publicly. Per NAR interpretation, you can do one-to-one broker-to-broker communication if it falls under those guidelines. Again, you guys will be getting those guidelines out on our website. It is a really great FAQ, and it really goes through all things with clear cooperation and the withheld. I do want to just let you guys know real quick too about our clear cooperation process, because that is a question that comes in a lot. So we do send clear cooperations out. However, just please know that we cannot send anything unless we have proof, because it is a large violation. So we do need proof of the potential violation. And once we get it, we have to wait 1 business day from that day before we can proceed forward. If there is no contract in place, it is not a clear cooperation violation. But know that if you do not have a contract in place, you could potentially be in violation of state license law. So you do want to talk to your broker about that. So those are some really big, really key points that are coming to us a lot lately. There are the new things with the FAQs we really wanted you guys to know. So if that is confusing, or if you guys need to talk directly through that a little bit more, again, please give us a call or email us. We will walk you through that, and the FAQs will be out very shortly on that. So coming soon is another one that we do have questions on. Believe it or not, everybody knows the coming soon. You know how it works, which is great. You guys get the opportunity to put your listing into a coming soon. That is still an active status, okay? But coming soon means there cannot be any showings. So we get a lot of questions around this. Just make sure there are no showings during this time. If you do have an accepted offer during a coming soon time, and the inspector needs to go in, the inspector can go in, but you cannot have any showings. So nobody else can go in with that inspector. The inspector needs to get in to do their job to proceed on forward with whatever you guys have in your purchase agreement. So we're not going to get in the way of that, but just know that there cannot be any showings with that inspector at that time. If you guys need to allow a showing, you would have to go into active. Well, active actually with a contingency because you have a purchase agreement in place. Also know that You can have your coming soon up to 21 days. So one of the things that we do see quite often is some people will put it in for 10 days. Okay, but you do have the 21-day window. Now your sellers need a little bit more time. They want to keep it in coming soon. You guys have the ability to move that, extend that out up to the 21 days, but it truly is a best practice, and we are hoping that you will do your due diligence. And if anybody has any showing scheduled, you will call them and let them know that there was something that came up and the sellers needed to push that date out. Okay? Make sure your sellers give you the permission in writing to do so also. Everything is always in writing. But know that once you move from a coming soon status, you cannot go back into that coming soon status within 90 days unless the property sells. Then it can go back into a coming soon status. But if you cancel and relist the property right away, it cannot go back into the coming soon status. You can market it during this time. And this is compliant with the 2 business day rule. Again, the 2 business day rule is if you take the listing contract and it is within our service area, it would have to go into the MLS within the 2 business days. So you can go, let's just say maybe you're in withhold right now. You can go from withhold to coming soon to active, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of breaking down the coming soon. Those are the key points that we really want you guys to know about coming soon. And that is a lot of the questions that we do see. If you guys have more questions though, please let us know so that way we can keep putting this in communications and educate everybody on it. I do have to hit on one more thing though quickly with the coming soon, and we did do a blog with this. The coming soon form, there is a little bit of confusion on the dates on there. And so I can't show you a coming soon form right now because I'm in PowerPoint, but there is the contract and the expiration date. That is exactly what is on your contract. I believe the lines are 9 and 10. Those are the same exact dates that will be put on the coming soon where it shows contract and expiration date. The availability date, that is a date that it is going to go on the MLS as active. The confusion there is some people think the availability date is the day that it's going into the coming soon status. That's not true. The coming soon, the availability date is when the listing is going to automatically move from coming soon to available on the MLS. Okay. So just know that that's where those dates are at, and that is kind of a little bit of the confusion that we get to. Some people do get late listings because they think that the availability date is the coming soon date when in fact it truly isn't. So those are some of the key points I wanted you guys to know about that. And again, send in your questions to us if you do have anything that you want us to know or need or just clarification on. Um, comp solds. Comp solds, we get a lot of questions on these too. So basically, to break this down, a comp sold is a listing that you can put in as the buyer's agent after the listing sells. If you have the list side and you worked with the seller, then you would have to put it into the MLS within the 2 business day rule. Okay, you don't get to just keep it out of the MLS unless it doesn't fall in our mandatory area. But if it does, and you have the listing side, it would go into the MLS at least in withhold. Again, here's another important thing to know. Let's just say you have it in withhold and your sellers do not ever want it out anywhere. You guys can keep it withhold. Choose internet no before you go to active, pending, and close. So that way you can close it out. That way you can still have your list side on it and it can still be used as a comp. If you do not do that, if you have the buyer side only, then you're going to put it in after it closes, but you're going to want written approval from the buyer, allowing it to go onto the MLS. Okay, that does not syndicate out anywhere. Comp sold stay within the MLS only. You do not need a photo, but we would love it if you did put a photo in because a comp sold is just that. It is a comp listing. So people use them in their CMAs, appraisers use them. You know, you guys use them for many, many different reasons. So please, when you do put in a comp sold, put in as much information field so you don't have to put in as much, but fill in what you do have. Okay. But the biggest thing is if you have the list side, it's not truly a comp sold. If you have the list side, you want it to go into the MLS, at least in the withheld status. And then from there, if you don't ever want it to hit the MLS, you can just delete it, delete the withheld once it's sold. Or again, you can just go from withheld to active, active, pending, pending to closed. So canceled. Okay, so canceled, I know that that seems kind of goofy. Why would I put that on there? Everybody knows what a canceled listing is. Well, not everybody. So just so you guys know, canceled in Northstar MLS does mean that the contract is canceled. So yes, you can cancel your paperwork and redo it and put it back in the MLS right away, as long as you have new paperwork. It's canceled and then you can relist. Okay. One of the key points here again is because we do see a lot of people that cancel and relist. If you do cancel and relist, it cannot go back into coming soon within the 90 days. So that is one of the key points that you guys need to know with the canceled. And I know it probably sounds like I'm repeating myself, but that's because I really, really, really want to ingrain it in your brains because that is what we do see a lot. So canceled is just that. Canceled is a canceled contract and it can relist into the MLS, even if it's the very same day. Those are a lot of the questions that we do get on those. So that is why I wanted to break these statuses down. I know they seem very simple and they seem like it's something that everybody should know, and everybody does know them, but not everybody knew a lot of those key points. So I wanted to make sure you guys got um, the full Monty on that. And then closed, the beautiful closed sale is exactly that. It is closed. Your listing is sold. You guys can celebrate and everybody is happy that it is done and over and hopefully everything went well and y'all played nice in the sandbox. So let's go on a little bit further. This is our quarter 2025 top violations. What we want you guys to know here is, even though it sounds really mean, it sounds really crazy, these are mainly just notices, okay? And we're gonna break these down a little bit more for you. I just wanted you guys to kind of have a quick look into the pie chart, but let's break these down a little bit. So the biggest one you guys saw was the pending listings. What that means is you guys have a projected close date, okay? Your projected close date is on your pending listing, and what happens is you guys get to that projected close date, and either that's not pushed out or the listing hasn't been closed. So our system will automatically send out these notices. And again, it is just a notice. The notices go to whomever the broker chose them to go to. So it's probably your broker, most likely an office admin. The broker has the ability to carbon copy you on all listings. So brokers out there, if you want your agents carbon copied on notification emails, let us know. We do need broker permission for that, and we can have agents carbon copied on. But again, it is just a notice that goes out. It can escalate to a fine if it is not corrected or responded to. So please always respond to us. Anytime you make any corrections within the MLS, or let's just say you want to stand by your data because it is correct, we do need a response. So that way we can make sure to close out notifications so they do not escalate to a fine. That is some of the fines that you do see out there, is the escalation process. So we really want to get to those before they can escalate. But again, pending means that your projected close date has passed. So the projected close date either needs to be pushed out further or the listing needs to be closed. Now, again, late listings, as you can see, there's quite a few in the quarter, and we have seen a pretty big uptick in these. What we're seeing is a lot of it is due to the fact that people were kind of confused about the incomplete status and the coming soon form. Okay. So if you guys are ever in question on that, just give us a call. But again, this is where you have the 2 business days from the day that either your contract starts or your contract is signed, whatever is the later. Okay. You have 2 business days to get it into the MLS at the very least in a withheld status. That will help you to ensure that you do not get a late listing. Late listings do get an automatic fine. It's $25 a day, up to $100. So just know that that is one of the automatic fines. We do not want to give them out. So please give us a call. Let's just say you're past that date. You were not able to get the withheld signed. We really, really want to work with you guys. So give us a call or email us. Let us know the situation so we can talk it through and figure out what to do from there. But we really want to help you guys with these. So if there's any confusion at all, again, please reach out to us. Virtual tours, that's another one that we do see. Virtual tours, the biggest thing typically is branding. Everybody knows they cannot be branded. But what we are seeing more of lately is they're linking out to third-party sites or sharing to social media sites. So for instance, a Vimeo tour or a Matterport tour, their logo is in there, and that is okay. They can have the logo in there. It just cannot link out anywhere. So if you click on it, that is one way to look. Click on it, click around in there. Make sure it doesn't take you from your tour out into another site. A lot of times it's their homepage or who knows, another site. You just don't want to click out of there into another site. There's also the share link. That is usually a live link that comes up. It usually looks like a half triangle. If you click on that, it shares to social media sites. So please know that in the MLS, that it would not be compliant. As far as any other places you want to put it, that is up to you. However you want to do that, you absolutely can. But in the MLS, live links are not acceptable. So that's what we are seeing with virtual tours. We would love it if you guys send your virtual tours in for compliance check. You just send it to the rules email. We will check all your virtual tours. Okay, we do it for a lot of people. You do not have to do it, but we would love to do it. That way we screenshot it, we circle anything that is not compliant, and then we send it back to you so that way you can get it compliant before you go active on the MLS. Okay, so again, we want to help you guys. Virtual tours is an automatic fine, so feel free to send them in to us because we will compliance check them. Along with the public remarks, we will compliance check public remarks, agent remarks, supplements, any of that kind of stuff. Photo questions, we are here to help you guys. But some of the public remarks things that we are seeing is websites in the public remarks. They cannot go in public remarks. There cannot be any branding in any way, shape, or form. So, meaning your phone number, your name, your brokerage name, but even to the point where it's if it says call listing agent or call listing brokerage for further details. And the reason that one is not compliant is because you guys got to remember that members of public who are not in real estate don't understand how everything works. So if they see it out on a public website and it says call listing agent, even though they're working with a buyer's agent, they may not think that, oh, hey, I have to go and talk to my buyer's agent. They may just say, oh, okay, well, I'm going to skip my buyer's agent and go directly to the listing agent because that's where they say I need to call. So in public remarks, please, you can put call for further showings or call to schedule a showing, call for further information, because then they're going to call whomever they feel is appropriate to call, which is hopefully their buyer's agent. And please, please, please be asking if a member of public calls you, ask them if they are working with a realtor already. And then the finished square feet, that's another big one that we get. I know that a lot of people are not happy with this. I know that this is worldwide. A big issue is finished square feet. So we do send notices, and they are just notices for finished square feet because we do ask for verification on finished square feet. Now, if we do send that, and the agent does verify that their data is correct, we do have to allow that to stay, okay? Just know that any claims of misrepresentation when it comes to anything that is put in the MLS would fall back on that brokerage and that agent. So be sure you're not just copying a listing because you don't know that all that data is correct. Be sure you're measuring it. Measure it yourself. We got really great tools to help you measure. And if you're not sure on how to measure, check with your broker. Check with some of the local appraisers. They are great a great resource for you guys. So be very careful when copying a listing if it's not your own and you haven't verified the data. Um, and again, the other two that we don't send a lot of them, but we send enough and we should not be having to send them, again, is the clear cooperation policy. We do not send them unless we have proof. So just please know that that is our process. I know people want to know if we're sending them, why aren't we sending them faster? Um, and everything that happens is confidential. So if it gets sent to us, it is confidential. Okay. So nobody ever knows who sent it to us. But also, on the other side of that, the person who sent it to us doesn't get to know exactly how we proceeded because that is confidential on their side also. So please know that when they go out, whatever happens, everything is confidential and kept within the MLS, okay? And then commissions. I want to talk about the commissions because we are still seeing commissions being put in the MLS. I am very sure that you have all heard about the settlement that happened in August. It was a huge lawsuit, but we are still seeing commissions being put into the MLS. Okay. With that lawsuit, the settlement states that the MLS will not allow commissions to be put into the MLS anywhere at all anymore. Okay. And that means even saying buyer agent friendly, because that is alluding to the fact that there is a commission in place. You guys can offer your commissions. You can do whatever you want. Talk to your broker how you're supposed to go on about that. But inside the MLS, there are no commissions, not in showing time, not in supplements, not in agent remarks. Okay. This is one where if there is a commission added, the MLS has to remove it immediately, even if it's a virtual tour. Anywhere in the MLS, if there is mention of commissions, we do have to remove it immediately, and there is a fine that is sent for that. So again, super important to know. We really, really want to make sure that you guys are not putting any commissions into the MLS. Excuse me. There is still um, this settlement, even though the settlement has been settled upon, they are still looking into this, and they will come after the brokerage or the MLS or the association that is allowing commissions within the MLS. So please, please, please follow the settlement and do not put commissions anywhere in the MLS. Okay, I know it sounds like I'm harping because I am, because we really, really want to keep you guys compliant and we want to keep you out of lawsuits. So, with that being said, we are really here to help you guys, okay? We want to help you in every way we can. We would love to come into your offices, your brokerages, and do office visits, whether it be via Zoom or coming in public. Myself, I can come. Justin is one of our trainees. He can come in. David and I will do stuff together. We will come into your offices and do brokerage trainings. But even if you don't do that, that's okay. You still have the ability to send in your questions, your comments to us. As you see on the screen, there's our email address. That's where we would love for you guys to send everything. Virtual tours is a big one, you guys. Please send it to us. Any of the remarks, any of the supplements, any of that kind of stuff, send it to us for review. Schedule your office visit. We would love to hear from you. But not only that, we do work really hard at keeping resources up for you guys. So our website has a ton of resources. Um, we have a great marketing team that puts together a newsletter. I do write a blog with help from them, of course, to make it more blog-like. So feel free to jump on because all of those blogs, previous blogs are on there. We have a new one coming out for September really soon. So watch for those. I know sometimes it's very easy to just click through them because you guys get a ton of emails, but they are out there for you guys to read, use it in your office trainings. Again, we have a lot of blog posts out there. We do the message of the day, but on our website, there is a rules and regulations section also that has a ton of guidelines. If there's a guidelines that you would love to see out there that you don't see, that you really want to know information about, then let us know because we will be sure to get that put together for you guys. So again, help us help you. we want to be there for you guys. We don't want to send out fines. We very rarely do, but unfortunately, some of them are still being sent out. So again, these are some of the ways that we can help you. You can help us, and we want to keep working together with you guys as a team. And like I said, communication really is key. So with that being said, I do want to open it to questions. I see there's quite a few coming in. So if you guys have more questions for me, let me know. Feel free to ask them right now. Come on in.